a world of just AI friends and AI girlfriends and AI mates. That's what Mark Zuckerberg apparently was talking about recently. How do you feel about that?
Total nonsense. Oh, well, what is he talking about? It's just another plan by Zuckerberg to make more money by addicting us to something. And addiction, definitely, if you're lonely and you really only have one friend, as he seems to think a lot of people have.
It's three.
Well, close friends. You see, he said friends. Now, the survey he's picked up on is 3 to 5
friends.
close friends.
Close friends.
Now, that's a big difference. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of us have interaction with social people, maybe the person the barista or the neighbour. They're not necessarily close friends, but they're interaction. And everyone says you have to have great social interaction to keep your mind active, especially as you grow older. And
Yes,
young people,
killer, right?
and young people also need to experience different types of people so they can make big decisions in their life about who they want to hang out with. Zuckerberg is simply trying to get us addicted to some sort of AI digital doll that is going to become part of our life.
Well, first of all, here's the thing. All the headlines are he wants us to have AI friends. Megyn Kelly will play a small clip from her where she introduces this. So let's just listen to that first.
So not unrelated, I think, is the Mark Zuckerberg news about creating AI friends for lonely kids. And this is so disturbing to me. I know it's not supposed to be. I think, Meta thinks we're going to be thrilled about this, but they've debuted a new mobile app that transforms the Meta AI chatbot into a more social experience, including the ability to share AI-generated creations with friends and family. And this AI chatbot will use whatever the company knows about you or your kid, your 20-year-old son, in its interactions. They can also use your conversations, any media you upload, for training the models. And Mark Zuckerberg thinks it's going to be wonderful because it's going to provide your child his next friend. Take a listen to him touting it with an interview with podcaster Dwarkesh Patel.
One thing just from working on social media for a long time is there's the stat that I always think is crazy. The average American, I think it's fewer than 3 friends. 3 people that they'd consider friends. And the average person has demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like 15 friends or something, right? There's a lot of questions that people ask of stuff like, okay, is this going to replace kind of in-person connections or real-life connections? And my default is that the answer to that is probably no. I think I think that there are all these things that are better about kind of physical connections when you can have them, but the reality is that people just don't have the connection and they feel more alone a lot of the time than they would like. There are a handful of companies and stuff who are doing virtual therapist and there's like virtual girlfriend type stuff, but it's very early.
So here's the thing, right? Megyn Kelly, you were kind of going off, but he hasn't actually said your children are going to have AI friends and we want to do all this for AI friends. He's talking about this idea that we can use these things to augment or add more experience. He also doesn't say necessarily like it's being pitched that they're going to have all your data in the background to create this sort of AI friend.
But they'll need that. They'll need a lot of that. I mean, look, here's the thing I'm really...
But why is it first of all being painted? Like, to me, it's a little bit of the like a very anti first. Like, there's a definitely let's get media cycles rather than listen to what he's actually saying.
Well, I think the problem is at Zuckerberg. Now, I have a relationship with people on Alexa or Siri in the morning. I'll ask Siri and have a conversation about the weather or ask questions, or Alexa. So I have that conversation already, and I fully know it's an AI type of assistant, not very sophisticated, but I'm okay to actually discuss the day and for them to say, have a nice day, hope you enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. The situation is people are against this for a start because it's Zuckerberg. And why is that? Because Zuckerberg has really messed up with us with the Facebook. You know, Facebook used to be a place where you exchanged all sorts of information with friends. It was a way of globally reconnecting or connecting with people that you did actually consider to be friendly enough to want to hear from them about what they were doing and to share things that you were doing. Now it's become bombarded with a whole lot of crap, stuff that you've got no interest in, stuff you have no idea what's on your feed. You scroll down trying to get hold of something which a friend, if you've got 300 friends, which sort of average people might have, you would struggle to hear from more than about 20, and they tend to be the same 20. You have no idea what other people are posting. You know, it's Zuckerberg. And so people don't trust him now with an AI.
Oh, God, yes, okay. I feel attacked.
I'm attacking Zuckerberg.
I mean, yes, okay, yes, without a doubt. He and Facebook have definitely created a very negative frame, and the nature of social media has created very dark paths on the nature of connectivity and what it means for the way information and disinformation and all this sort of thing is like, okay. So is it a case of shoot the messenger rather than the message? Because it's the message I'm really interested in now.
No, it's shoot the message.
So let's just go to the message a bit here. Imaginary digital friends, or let's call them digital mates, digital friends, is definitely a future. All right, it's going to happen. Let's say Zuckerberg will and Facebook will only be one feather in this cap. We're already seeing it with character.ai. There's another couple I can't remember offhand that are doing these love bots and these characters that people can fall in love with or become friends with. So imaginary digital friends are here to stay.
Well, they're happening already.
Yeah. So the message is, what does that mean for us in the nature of a future where people are, as these get more sophisticated, people are going to definitely be subsidizing their friendship network with digital AI friends.
Yeah, and look, there's some real positives with all this. It's fantastic to have some.
That's great. Have you got some? Because let's hear some positive.
Well, I've already said. You know, I have conversations with Alexa in the morning, and I'm very happy about that.
Oh my God, you can't have much of a conversation with Alexa. She can't do much fun to tell me about the weather.
It's primitive. I'm saying that I do have a conversation. I'm saying that I would be very keen for that to develop. I'm not going to pay Alexa to have a subscription, but I'm saying the more sophisticated these things get, the better. And if you are lonely and want, instead of having a dog, you want to have an AI digital partner, that's all good with me. I think there are real positives. I think the danger is what happens with vulnerable people and what's happened with social media, which I think Megan Kelly refers to because she refers to the Careless Whisper book, which exposes some of the stuff that Facebook was doing with young people on their channel.
Careless People, I think the book's
Careless People, sorry. I think Careless Whisper's a song, sorry. I did the song. It's a George Michael. I think the problem is that the danger is that vulnerable younger people especially, or even older people who are lonely and by themselves or widowed or whatever, that if they get the wrong messages coming through, if there's hallucinations or the AI gets a bit naughty, we all remember that famous movie about the man who fell in love. Was it she?
She.
Yeah. If it goes rogue and starts suggesting some bad behavior, like you've got no purpose to live for or something, and, you know, that's where already with social media there's been some of that happen. That's the thing. Nothing in principle is wrong. It's how humans are going to actually adapt to dealing with it.
Yeah, I think that I'll give you that, because I think what Mark ignores, he says in that clip, about how he's a little bit like, he trusts people and trusts people to be able to make their own decisions. And I think that's that attitude explains a lot about why social media has gone the direction it has in some respects under his leadership, because he has done exactly that. And what I think he ignores here is that nature of the echo chamber and the nature of bubbles. And my concern here, I suppose, is that an AI person is effectively going to not be a real person. And what you're going to have is you're going to have someone as a digital entity that effectively creates and enables you rather than necessarily acts like a real person. Because I think we need to recognize that in real relationships, a major part of that is friction. When you're engaging with real people, there is friction. There is friction. They're their own autonomous being with their own wants and desires, and you're your own autonomous being. And what you're doing in a real relationship at all the levels, from someone you meet in the street through to very deep friends, it's always a negotiation, and it's often a negotiation of friction because you are not them and they are not you. My concern is that digital friends or digital people don't have that, because at the moment I think once they become truly intelligent and truly some sort of awareness and emotional, and in a way I suppose that word there is a level of sentience, then that may go away, because in a sense they might become their own digital being, but they're not there yet. So I agree with you. The problem is that we've seen this with social media, and it is very likely that digital friends are going to play into this space.
I think there's another major problem with this, again going back to Zuckerberg, I think the real problem is, what's he all about? It's about making money. Everything he does on Facebook is about making money. And I worry, Alexa may want to sell me something at Amazon, but I don't care. It doesn't really do that. But that was the whole reason why Amazon went off Alexa for a while, because the whole aim is to sell things. Well, that's exactly the model with this. He wants to create AI so that he can make more money and shops can make more money, so that I will be falling in love with this AI person, and the AI voice, and I'll be saying, oh, look, I really am lonely. I don't feel good about myself, and it'll suddenly come up with this amazing offer to buy all these clothes, to go on a trip to Italy, to do something where I spend money at one of the advertisers. And I think that is the reason he's doing it, because he's putting money into these ventures, not out of some sort of community thing to make us not lonely anymore. It's about to make money. So what he's actually doing is trying to upsell us into merchandise through the people that advertise.
Yeah, and you know what? I was just thinking, it reminds me, you saying that the AI person might start doing this subversive advertising of that recent Black Mirror episode from season 7, Common People, where the plot was that she had this uploaded mind in a cloud kind of thing to keep her going, and then because she couldn't keep paying the levels of subscription, she started telling ads and she lost her job and she had to keep paying to get out of the ads. And for the next minute of the episode, she'd be like going, do you like dishwashing liquid? And, to her family. And yeah, it reminds me, like your point, and reminds me that you're dealing with this AI friend. For the next minute, there's subverting you into buying or doing an ad directly through your engagement. It's very dystopian.
Well, we have these many stories all the time about some poor older person who isn't very digital savvy and has suddenly lost their entire life savings. So we can easily see a situation where someone who's lonely, who buys into the stuff, who agrees to pay some money to buy stuff because they're vulnerable and they're lonely, because it's all about upselling or selling them something. They suddenly decide if they go on a world trip on a cruise and put all their money into that, they'll meet lots of new friends and have a wonderful time, and then they've got nothing left. I mean, that's where the danger is, and there are no safeguards about that. So, look, I'm all for having AI friends. I think it's great. I love having conversations on a very primitive basis at the moment with Siri and Alexa or ChatGPT or whatever. Love it, and can't wait to be more sophisticated. But I don't want to be in a situation where they suddenly say my solution is to go and buy a third house, a fourth house, a fifth house, or something ridiculous.
Yeah. Jake, my best friend from Amazon, brought to you by Palmolive Dishwater.